Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to another Try Forex Power Hour. I am Marcello, and I'm a Pro FX trader, of course. And what I'm going to do today is what I've done for years, which is an analysis of the market and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars and our 4-hour bars generally, and sometimes our weekly bars. So let me explain to you exactly how it works. So usually about, as I said, 5 p.m. we do a market analysis, or after 5 p.m. Right now it's around about 8 o'clock p.m., which is later than I usually do it, because if there are Aussie trades that we want to get into, we would have had already gotten into those trades. But usually at 5 p.m. or right after 5 p.m. we try to do our market analysis. That will come at about 5 to 6. All right, I record that, I put it online. All right, each night we can put together a set and forget it system trade. Okay, so basically we take the biases that we get, the direction of the trade, we determine a high probability of success for that particular trade, for that particular currency pair, and then we take it from there and we take those trades. Then we also have the opportunity either to do a set and forget it trade, or we walk in on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Time, depending if you want to trade the European market or the New York market, and you can day trade for profit with our Pro FX traders inside of the trade room. Okay. And then, of course, you can do nothing else if you don't want to. So 2 ways to execute: take a set and forget it trade, and then also day trade in the direction of our bias, which I just told you is the probability of success of a currency pair moving in one direction or the other on that day, using our pods. Okay, so we use our pods, our points of decision, to determine and to gain even larger profits, to leverage more in the market for larger profits. So let's go ahead and look at the charts here. And as you can see, I've got mine on the euro dollar, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm sorry, on the Aussie dollar. Obviously, as I said before, the Aussie dollar tends to move quickly. Okay, so that market is already moving. All right, so you can see here that the Aussie dollar is already moved. We're looking at a daily chart here. And from the open at 89.47, we've already hit a high of 90.14, which is a very good range. It's about the daily range for the Aussie dollar. Okay, so that is it's telling us obviously that this thing has moved, so we're not going to really get into the Aussie dollar on the day anymore. Generally speaking, we have a buy bias here. Once we cross this 50 EMA, and then we really tested the lows here. We tested that 50 EMA and we closed above it here on the daily. We knew that this was going to be a buy bias here. So we've already gone from open to high here. We've already gone about 67 pips. Okay, so from open to high, we've gone 67 pips. And what we're looking for is a continuation here. I don't know where this is going to close, guys, but from what we can see here, we're probably looking for a continuation, and we very well may see an Aussie dollar retracement quite a distance. Now, I should drop some Fibonacci's here just so that we're clear as to where this may actually go and where we're going to have stopping points. Usually start with the euro dollar, but today I'm starting with the Aussie just because of the time of day. We might as well get it over with. Okay. All right, and so here you can see that we've already had a retracement of about 350 pips on the Aussie dollar. We're looking at 38.2 is going to be our next stopping point, and that actually coincides very well with around 90.77. Okay, what we have at 90.77 or 90.80, I should say, is we have a high. Okay. So right between 90.50 and 90.70, there's going to be an area of support and resistance. We've got some lows here as well, so that's going to be a very strong area of resistance here, or a good area to look for a turnaround as far as resistance is concerned. So 38.2. 38.2 area, and actually depends on when we actually get there. Obviously, this trend line here is going to be our true area of resistance at 91.62. We'll definitely be looking for some form of resistance here, manifestation of some form of hesitation by the market here on the Aussie dollar. All right, so let's move on. All right, so our euro dollar is moving up as well, slowly, to be honest with you. It's not a large movement here, 60 pips or so for the week so far, which would be on the day. And you can see here that we had a gap down, which was closed, followed by already in this last few moments here, about a 30 pip rise up to 38.2 of our previous drop. Okay, now here's where we're going to look for resistance. We're going to be looking for resistance here at 13700. And as I've been saying before, honestly, this 50% fib area, this intersection here on the euro dollar that we have for this pennant, I would dare say about 13700 to 13720. That's where we're going to be looking for price, for a retracement in price, and for us to head back downward here. So 137.20 is definitely an area that we're going to be looking for a sell potentially. So how do we know that? We're going to be looking for hammers. We're going to be looking for railroad tracks on lower time frames. We're going to be looking for some hesitation in the market or some acknowledgement of that area of support and resistance. Okay, and that would be at 3700 to 3720. Okay, so that is the euro dollar. So we've got a buy bias here on the euro dollar, as you can see, and so that's what we're looking for. As you can see, there is some play here at 38.2 already. You can see that the market went right to the 38.2 and has already bounced off of it at 136.77. And does that mean that it's not going to continue to rise? Probably not. But you can see here that we've had a move up, and price came right to that 38.2, literally right to it, and has bounced right off of it. Now, does that mean price? Yes, so we're going to get a retracement most likely, and then we're going to see price continue to move to the upside because that's what it looks like it wants to do here. Okay, here it's clear here. So right now we have a buy bias. All right, so here we have our pound dollar. We've got our weekly chart, and this was interesting because we had two touches right here, very strong hammer reversal candles here on the pound dollar. Okay, and that gave us, you know, it looked like a sell. And honestly, if you had taken a sell last week and you set your take profits the way that you should have, you could have gotten about 180 pips out of this run down. Okay, but then it closes high, which gives us reason to believe that price may very well continue to move up. Okay, so right at where we are, we've got to be considering potentially a buy bias. Now, I was looking at the weekly. Let's look at the daily. Now, looking at the daily chart, we're above the 50 MA. We've had a test of the 50 MA yesterday, and now you can see price is beginning to move up. We had a test of it, closed above the 50 MA, and now it's most likely going to continue to move upward. Okay? And that's pretty much where we are as far as that's concerned. I can draw an area of support and resistance here. And there it is. So we have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, where we have these three hammers, okay? And then price really just took off there, began to move upward. So we have a support area right at the 50 MA at about 163.50 to 163.75, and you know, we're looking for price to continue to move upward on this line, which is much more maintainable, if you will. It's definitely not as steep as the previous trend line. Okay, so look for a buy here on the pound dollar as well. Same thing on the New Zealand dollar. That's what we said before. Also, nice sizable move up. That was a buy bias there. And yeah, interestingly enough, we have been in consolidation here on the dollar CAD. It moved up very nicely. Nice buy movement here on the dollar CAD buy trend. Okay, uptrend. Now we're going to look for price to continue to move upward. And as you can see here, we've got on the Euro Yen weekly, huge reversal candle, but we've got play at the 50 EMA, and it stayed below the 50 EMA. So what does that mean for us? For me personally, it is unclear whether this thing is going to go up or down. Now, if we break the high of this doji that we have right at the 50 EMA, then that's clear. So if you want to take a buy here on the euro yen, I would say take a buy at 139.85 in that vicinity, right above the high of the previous day, and it's most likely going to move up if it breaks that high. Right now we have a doji, though. That doji could easily sell off and continue to move downward. Looking at this here, though, looking at the weekly chart where we had a huge reversal candle and a reversal right back off of the 61.8 fib area, it looks like it may want to be a buy. From the weekly, it looks like a buy. From here, it is ambiguous. It looks like it could take a sell here off of this area. And for that reason, I'm not calling a trade here on the euro yen just yet. Nice reversal candle here on the dollar yen as well. On the weekly, on the daily, same thing. It basically has bounced off the 50 EMA until we get a break of the high there. We've got to look at this one, and looking at this one, it looks like it could very well sell off. So we've got to wait and see where price is going to go, if it's going to break the high here on the dollar yen. If it does, then we've got a buy trade. So all this across the board on the yen pairs, euro yen, dollar yen, pound yen, we've got these beautiful reversal candles, which lead us to believe that it wants to take a buy. But I guarantee you, looking at the daily here, where all of them are just vacillating right below this 50 EMA. When we get a break of the high, it looks like from the weekly that price inevitably wants to go up here. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. If it breaks the high here of these dojis that are right below the 50 EMA, then that would be the breaking point to look for a buy here. Dollar Swiss, looking at the daily and now looking at the weekly, still in a consolidation. As you can see, just sideways movement up and down. It's actually, we are getting a contraction of price here. I wonder if this will work. Sure does. Okay, so we're looking at a contraction in price here on the dollar Swiss on the weekly, and we're going to be looking for a breakout at this apex here. And so in the next couple of days, we should see a breakout of the dollar Swiss. Looking at it from the daily, we're actually very close to that. So yeah, we may have the breakout. We're in the apex. We're getting to the red zone here. We'll have to wait and see where this dollar Swiss goes and if it's going to vacillate a bit more. It's going to hesitate. But for the time being, I got to call it's bouncing right off of a strong area of support right now. It's just a very strong area of support. So I would be looking at if I were you, the H4 4-hour or the 1 hour to see if we get a reversal candle right where we are. If you get a buy reversal candle here and it closes right here, then that is where you want to be. You actually want to take a buy on this, considering that we're bouncing right off of this area of support resistance. All right, so that's going to give us a buy tendency here on the dollar Swiss. Hey guys, that pretty much wraps up this session as far as our biases are concerned. And as you can see here, even on this euro dollar, we've got a nice reversal candle formed right at the 38.2. We're not quite at the highs yet. We are bouncing right off the 38.2. We may get some play here, down a bit, but I think inevitably we will get a retest of the trend line at 13700. And that's all, folks. I'll see you tomorrow for another edition of this Tribe Forex Power Hour, where we will be looking at the daily market. We'll look at the markets, and when we have a very clear signal, I will let you know that. As I said before, on the yen pairs, look for a break of the high of those dojis. On the pound yen, euro yen, and the dollar yen, those are what you're going to be looking for to be able to get into a buy here and have a buy bias. At this point, that is pretty ambiguous. The Aussie dollar, we had a buy clearly, and the pound dollar is a buy. We definitely have a buy here on the pound dollar. That's what it's telling us here. Okay, so look for support potentially at 163.75, and then a move upward. Look at resistance at 164.82. With that, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. All the best.